Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are completely unpacking how the Indian mindset around money and wealth creation has just radically transformed over the last 3 decades. We're basically watching entirely different generations who grew up in totally different economic realities tackle the exact same goal, financial freedom.
Just picture these two vastly different starting lines for a second. On one side, you have a young woman in 1994, right? She's joining the workforce, queuing up at a bank to open a recurring deposit. No apps, no mutual fund SIPs, zero access to global markets. And then, on the flip side, you've got an 18-year-old today who literally started trading stocks on a smartphone in middle school using his dad's DMAT account. I mean, it is a night and day difference in how we access wealth.
Section 1. Two investors, two Indias.
Now, this massive shift isn't just about having cooler technology on our phones. It's a fundamental evolution in our psychology. We're looking at a literal roadmap of financial modernization here. We've gone from physical assets, saved in earthen pots and heavy lockboxes by our grandparents, straight through to these digital, compounding wealth engines that today's youth are using.
Section 2. The Careful Savers. So, to really understand where we are right now, we kind of have to look at where we came from. Take J.I.D. Ghosh, for example. She started out super patiently in 1994 with standard recurring deposits and insurance policies. But over 30 years, as India's market slowly opened up, she meticulously evolved her strategy. Today, she's running a highly diversified modern engine. We're talking real estate, mutual funds, alternative investment funds, and direct equity.
Looking back at those early days, she summed it up perfectly. People saved diligently because, well, it was the only safe option they had. The money just stayed locked away for years, and honestly, the returns barely moved the needle against inflation. It was completely a strategy born out of necessity, not necessarily optimization. For investors from that era, like 67-year-old Pratap Kumar, you have to remember that salaries were tight. The stock market, that felt like straight-up gambling to them. True wealth wasn't about some flashy early retirement. It literally just meant not having to depend on anyone else for your basic survival. So you put your money in fixed deposits, post office schemes, maybe some physical gold, and you absolutely did not touch it.
Section 3. The Sandwich Generation.
And then enter the millennials, the sandwich generation. They hit their peak earning years exactly when the markets were modernizing. Ravi Nagrani's journey is a perfect textbook example of this. In 2004, he started with fixed deposits, just like the previous generation. By 2005, he was manually writing post-dated checks to fund his mutual fund SIPs. He got burned badly during the 2008 IPO frenzy, but he learned and he adapted. Today, he comfortably sits on a portfolio that's 60 to 65% equity. The absolute defining moment for millennials was how they handled that adversity. When the 2008 crash wiped out portfolios, Ravi learned the most critical investing lesson of his life from a finance professor. The guy asked him, "Do you actually need this money today? If you don't, do not panic sell. Just hold on, let it compound, let the market recover." That meant a leap from just saving to actually long-term investing was a total game changer for this generation.
Meanwhile, younger millennials, like 28-year-old Anjali Jaiswal, have refined the strategy even further. She isn't just throwing money into the market and blindly hoping for a payoff 30 years from now. She invests to fund highly specific, immediate goals, like paying for her post-grad education or traveling the world. For her, investing is literally a tool to buy freedom and experiences today, rather than putting off life until a traditional retirement age.
Section 4. The Digital Natives.
Now we arrive at Gen Z, and let me tell you, this demographic is completely rewriting the rules of the market at lightning speed. Because they were born into a fully digital ecosystem, the data is just wild. The median age of a new investor in India has plummeted to just 27 years old. The center of gravity in the financial world has officially shifted to the youth. To put that into perspective, as of May 2026, a staggering 59% of all new investor additions in India are under the age of 30. That's huge! They are flooding into the market, fully armed with zero brokerage apps and basically an endless supply of online financial education.
But here is the most fascinating part. They are shockingly disciplined. Young investors like Evan and Hanos started incredibly early, at ages 12 and 11. But you'd think they'd be chasing meme stocks, right? Actually, they flat out reject hype-driven assets like crypto. Why? Because of regulatory constraints and a really smart personal rule. If they don't fully understand the fundamentals, they don't buy it. They're skipping the speculative gambling phase entirely and going straight for mutual funds and direct equities.
And their endgame? Totally different from their parents. For this generation, the ultimate goal is not a traditional retirement where you grind until 60 and then stop. It's a concept known as coast fire or soft life fire. The idea is you fiercely secure a massive investment base in your 20s and 30s. Once that base is safely compounding in the background, you downshift. You take on freelance work, passion projects, travel. You integrate all of that into your daily life right now instead of deferring your happiness to old age.
Obviously, the tools available to pull this off have evolved immensely. We shifted away from relying purely on physical assets locked in a bank vault to highly liquid, transparent financial instruments. Today, an investor can literally buy a silver ETF with 2 taps on their smartphone, getting all the wealth benefits of the commodity without ever having to worry about storing the physical metal.
Section 5. New Rules of Wealth.
So what does this all mean when we put it together? Well, the national macroeconomic impact is absolutely undeniable. The share of household financial savings held in shares and mutual funds has exploded, going from just 1.8% back in the 2012 financial year to an incredible 15.2% today. India has essentially stopped just hoarding cash and gold and has actively started participating in its own economic growth engine.
But honestly, the most profound shift we've seen is this behavioral flip in logic. Earlier generations operated on the old instinct: save first, pay your expenses, and then hesitantly invest whatever scraps were left at the end of the month. Today's investors, they do the exact opposite. They automate their investments on payday. They pay their future selves before anything else, and then they consciously build their entire lifestyle around whatever remains.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final critical thought about your own financial psychology. We've just seen how the tools, the access, and the very definition of wealth have radically transformed. You have more leverage right at your fingertips today than any generation in history. So you have to ask yourself, are your current money instincts actually building the exact future you want, or are you just blindly repeating the habits of the past? Take a hard look at your portfolio this week. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.